The next step is to assemble the Z-axis motor, the Z-axis limit switch, and the lead screw onto the base assembly. One thing to note here while moving the entire assembly during the assembly process is try not to pinch this cable multiple times. This cable can end up splitting and breaking, which won't be good for our screen. So put this cable on the side like this so that it doesn't come in our way while we're moving it around. We are going to use M418 screws. These are the flathead screws to attach this black piece, which is attached to the Z-axis motor, to the left sidebar. Let's put together the screws, and you'll have to hold this motor down so that the screws align with the threaded holes on the left sidebar. While you hold it down, try to put one screw just in with a couple of turns, and then take the other screw and again hold this down and try to rotate that and put that in. Remember that these screws are also made out of steel and they are going into the aluminum piece, so we don't want to tighten them so much because aluminum is softer than steel and can be damaged by steel. Once we are done with this, we'll just pull this cardboard piece out, and now we have our Z-axis motor assembled to the left sidebar. As next step, we'll take the lead screw. The lead screw essentially comes in this black sleeve, and the sleeve helps keep the grease onto the screw. To put it together, let's loosen this top screw and make sure our lead screw can drop all the way in. Grab the coupler and just tighten it. Make sure you tighten it completely. Let's also make sure the bottom screw is tight, which is attaching the motor coupler to the motor shaft. The motor coupler is basically split partially right in the middle so that the bottom half of it can be connected to the motor shaft and the top half could be connected to the lead screw. What this helps with is, in case the lead screw is not perfectly aligned to the motor shaft, it can help absorb some of the misalignment because there is a partial split here, and this coupler could flex. And this flexing can help take care of any kind of misalignment between the lead screw and the motor shaft. One thing you will see is this lead screw is not parallel to the side face of our left sidebar. That is okay because due to manufacturing tolerances and variations in these parts, all the parts do not create a perfect parallelism between this lead screw and the sidebar. What we will be doing is, once we attach the X-axis rail assembly onto the lead screw, this will straighten up because we have our motor coupler, which is flexible and will allow for bringing it back to the alignment. So now that we have our lead screw assembled, as next step, let's assemble our Z-axis limit switch. The Z-axis limit switch comes with a pre-installed screw and nut assembly. We have these screws and we have these T-nuts. These T-nuts essentially go into the slot that are present on this aluminum extruded sidebar, and this T-nut is going to drop into it in specific orientation, and once you tighten those screws, it's going to rotate and lock itself into these slots. The end of the limit switch that can be pressed will be pointing up because that's the end which our X-axis rail assembly will come down and press upon. Let's make sure that these nuts are parallel and pointing vertically, and then what we can do is we can drop them here. Now this limit switch assembly has a tiny notch here. That's the notch that sits on the surface. Drop it all the way down. We will be needing the second size Allen wrench for this. So rotate it, and as you rotate it, you will notice that the T-nut has rotated and locked itself onto the sidebar, and the same would happen for the bottom screw. So this completes a major portion of our subassembly. Actually, this also corresponds to step 1 through step 4 on the manual, and now we'll be moving forward to assemble our X-rail assembly as well as next steps onto the top bar and the spool holder portion of the assembly.